You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. The World at 8, the number one in nationalist news.
These are the headlines today, Easter Monday, the 9th of April. Hand grenades and Easter eggs. Religious education must not be sidelined. Unemployment to rise as 100,000 lose jobs before summer. Jaguar to build a new car in Birmingham. Government to investigate benefits paid to Brits on the Costas. France fears a new serial killer is on the loose. Rebel forces refuse to sign ceasefire in Syria. Putin tells officials to drive any car you want as long as it's Russian. Thought for the day, the police racism blow up. UK news. Avon and Somerset police called in the bomb squad and sealed off a main road after a 3-year-old child trod on a hand grenade during an Easter egg hunt. The hand grenade was found in the Somerset woodland on Saturday morning during a preschool chocolate hunt attended by around 25 excited children and their parents. Army bomb squad officers were ordered to the scene after a horrified parent realised a toddler was standing on top of an unexploded grenade. The deadly hand grenade is believed to have been an old Second World War device. Avon and Somerset police confirmed the grenade has been destroyed. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, issued a passionate plea for religious education not to be sidelined in the nation's secondary schools as he gave his final and best Easter sermon as the leader of the Church of England. Dr. Rowan Williams told the congregation at Canterbury Cathedral yesterday that he believed many young people continue to take the issue of religion seriously and their perceived hostility towards faith is not as extreme as is widely feared. The Archbishop's comments came after the Church of England warned that the pupils' moral and spiritual development risked being pushed to the side due to government reforms which put an increasing focus on the teaching of reading, writing and arithmetic at the expense of many other subjects. A spokesperson stated, "I wish it were so. Schools are pushing aside our religious teaching in favour of immigrants and their religious beliefs." The Telegraph reports an extra 100,000 people will lose their jobs before the end of the summer and unemployment will not fall for another year and a half, according to a grim report from the Institute for Public Policy Research. On a lighter note, according to the BBC, Jaguar Land Rover is to build a successor to its previous sports car called the F-Type at its factory in Birmingham. It is a 2-seater convertible with petrol engines made at Jaguar's Castle Bromwich plant. The design will be unveiled later this year. Jaguar's iconic E-Type was last made in 1975. Jaguar said we have been absent for too long from making sports cars. The car will go on sale in mid-2013 and it is hoped should boost jobs and car trade in that area. European news. It has been reported that up to £92 million is paid to people who have left the UK to live in other European countries, mainly Spain and the Costas. This isn't the old age pension, but it is comprised of other benefit payments from job seekers allowance to the winter fuel allowance. People who move to Europe are apparently allowed to claim job seekers for up to 3 months, but obviously this payment is not alone in being abused. Emma Boone of the Taxpayers Alliance said, "Many taxpayers cannot afford a holiday now, so it will seem strange to them that the DWP is handing out job seekers allowance to those living abroad." However, the largest payment is £41 million in incapacity benefit. A spokesperson has said, if they can get on a plane, fill in the multiple forms for the DWP and claim job seekers, they are hardly incapacitated. This loophole must be closed in the light of the financial position of the country. We cannot afford to keep people living the high life abroad. 4 people have been murdered in the French capital of Paris in the last 6 months. Latest victim, Nadia Lassine, was gunned down by a killer on a motorbike, a chilling echo of the Mohammed Mira killings. All 4 victims have been killed at point-blank range with a 7.65mm handgun. At least in 2 of the previous killings, the shooter escaped on a motorbike. Claude Gain, the French Minister of the Interior, when asked if there was a link with the Mira shootings, replied, yes, that it was a concern. World news. While the world condemns the Syrian government for continued attacks, the rebel forces have refused to sign written agreements to end hostilities, and the world has not promised to stop funding the rebels. The United Nations is still seeking a way to end the violence ahead of Tuesday's call for ceasefire. Syria's foreign minister is visiting Russia today for continued discussions on the crisis. A spokesperson has commented, "How can several countries get away with the bully boy tactics being employed here? The rebels who are causing the problem in the first place are being heavily subsidised by the UN and the Arab League. Assad has many supporters in his own country, just not the Saudis, the ones who apparently count." Amadou Toumani Touré, the president of Mali, has resigned following a military coup 3 weeks ago. The coup has seen much of northern Mali fall to Tuareg separatists over the last few weeks, yet many hope that the resignation will pave the way for a return to constitutional rule. The power vacuum caused by the coup allowed the rebels to seize ground. There are fears this could lead to a strengthening of Islamist terrorists, and some Malians are fleeing south. This is rather late as the terrorists already hold the capital Timbuktu. Again, another African country will fall to militant Islam. Russian President-elect Vladimir Putin, in a bid to boost the Russian automotive industry, announced a series of new measures, including a proposal that all cars purchased at state expense be Russian. Speaking in Toilati at the launch of the new Lager Lagus, he said, "I think that all the bodies of state and municipal authority in the Russian Federation and all entities financed from the federal budget should be in the very near future begin to buy only cars made on the territory of the Russian Federation and the common economic space, in other words in Russia, Kazakhstan and Belarus." The Economic Development Ministry has announced it will prepare the necessary legislation within 2 months. "You know, I love this man. He walks the walk and talks the talk, and to hell with the rest of the world. Also he is shrewd. He knows that he who monopolises the automotive industry of a country is always prepared for war. British government, take note." Thought for the day, the racist Met scandal. Oh dear, on this Easter weekend, with all thoughts around our religion and culture, we have yet another dig at our police force. Now you and I know that we, the British National Party, do not get a fair run for our money from the boys in blue, but still they are mainly at the moment, despite ethnic push, our boys in blue. What this murder of Stephen Lawrence has to do with this rant in the Mail on Saturday I really have no idea, but it seems he is like the veritable piñata to be brought out again and again and again. To what end? Even if there were such a thing as racism as opposed to tribalism, which is much more endemic, after all people of the same colour can and are tribal. I am tribal, very tribal, when it comes to my space and my patch of land. Even standing in a queue I am tribal. Try stepping into my place, matey, and you'll find out just how tribal I can be. We have the 200 British soldiers on exercise in Kenya in a tribal bar brawl. Was it between the native Kenyans and our lads? No, it was between the Irish and the Scots soldiers, apparently on discussions between the rights and wrongs of the Celtic and Rangers football clubs. The Kenyan police had to intervene. Must have been a first for them, I would think. So this was not reported as a racist bar brawl, because presumably they were all fairly pale-skinned and ginger. But this policeman, who was admittedly drunk at the time, told a Pakistani takeaway manager to go back to his own bleep country at the end of a heated conversation. Not nice, but not racist. We are not in Pakistan, but he is in the UK. My tribal country. Indeed, if we were in Pakistan, and this Pakistani had said the same thing to us, it would be considered normal practice, and he would have been congratulated on telling the truth. This Umar Nazir forms part of the huge immigrant workforce we seem to employ around the capital city, and outside in our food outlets of all things. PC Philip Duhatch, a very English name mind you, took exception to the fact that Nazir was throwing away food that was marked down in price to be sold, and Nazir was refusing to sell it to the PC. Apparently Duhatch had also asked for a police discount. Now that would make me mad. Apparently the PC told Nazir, amongst other things, that people in Pakistan were starving and that Nazir was wasting food over here, and he then told him to get back to his own country. A sentence which I find very compatible with my own thoughts. Racist? No. Practical? Yes. Now I'm amongst friends this Easter Monday, so it'll be no surprise to many of you that if a magic cloud were to come over here and spirit away a goodly proportion of our Muslim friends and a fair portion of others, encompassing Eastern Europeans as well, not so racist in thought, I would be a very happy Easter bunny. I already sport large floppy ears and a large fluffy tail. What is chilling is the so-called dossier printed in the mail of the 10 cases facing the Metropolitan Police. Rather like a Stasi file, in truth. They range from using racist language on duty to racist attack on several children while trying to break up mass water fight in Hyde Park organised on Facebook. Now I'm only guessing, but a mass water fight etc.? I would think several can read around 100, and children are obviously male speak for young teenagers, and probably black or mixed and totally out of control in a lovely public park. I would have got the water cannons on the bastards, let alone a racist attack. One of the funny ones is number 10. A black WPC in Westminster has been using racist language to her black and white colleagues, and she is on restricted duties. Now I know that to be a policeman nowadays is really a tough job. Not from the criminals aspect, but from the authorities themselves. We are condoning a secret police force in our country. They are not allowed to arrest or pursue the real criminals for fear of being racist. I say this because in one of our criminally insane mental hospitals, over 3/4 of the population are ethnics. More of that in a new report at a later date. But the police authorities themselves are compiling dossiers of what their own officers are supposedly doing. How can you do a job when no one is looking after your back? It is impossible. Put that with the Human Rights Stupids Act and we have a no-brainer here, my friends. You actually cannot do your job if you are a proper Mr. Plod. The only thing you will be fit for is going round schools and brush up on your Urdu mateys and imparting the laws of the road to the little buggers. That and helping old ladies across the street, young man, young man. But actually catching terrorists, murderers, rapists, gangsters, Muslim groomers who aren't working in kebab houses are well beyond you. Why? Racism is why. How can you arrest a man of a different colour and culture without being a racist? You cannot, which is why this particular form of wording is now being used by the powers that be, in fact anyone who wants to be noticed and thought of as a good person. Well, I'm not a racist, I'm a good person. I do not see the colour of a man's skin. I will just sit quietly and remove the knife in my guts and go on my way. Never a racist thought in my head, I warble as I stagger to the nearest hospital. Take the word racist away from the English language. It allows the bad to go unpunished, the willing to become unwilling, and the good never recognised. Good luck to Mr. Philip Plod. You have been listening to The World at 8. I am Lynn Mozart, and I hope you all had a very, very happy Easter, with lots and lots of chocolate.
You're listening to The World at 8 with Lynn Mozart. In nationalist news.
These are the headlines today, Easter Monday, the 9th of April. Hand grenades and Easter eggs. Army bomb squad officers were ordered to the scene after a horrified parent realised a toddler was standing on top of an unexploded grenade. The deadly hand grenade is believed to have been an old Second World War device. Avon and Somerset Police confirm the grenade has been destroyed. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, issued a passionate plea for religious education not to be sidelined in the nation's secondary schools as he gave his final and best car you want, as long as it's Russian. Thought for the day, the police racism blow up. UK news. Avon and Somerset Police called in the bomb squad and sealed off a main road after a 3-year-old child trod on a hand grenade during an Easter egg hunt. The hand grenade was found in the Somerset woodland on Saturday morning during a preschool chocolate hunt attended by around 25 excited children and their parents. Easter sermon as the leader of the Church of England. Dr. Rowan Williams told the congregation at Canterbury Cathedral yesterday that he believed many young people continue to take the issue of religion seriously and their perceived hostility towards faith is not as extreme as is widely feared. The Archbishop's comments came after the Church of England warned that the pupils' moral and spiritual development risked being pushed to the side due to government reforms. Religious education must not be sidelined. Unemployment to rise as 100,000 lose jobs before summer. Jaguar to build a new car in Birmingham. Government to investigate benefits paid to Brits on the Costas. France fears a new serial killer is on the loose. Rebel forces refuse to sign ceasefire in Syria. Putin tells officials to drive any